I'm Kiara.
And I'm Shanice.
And we're from Canada. Welcome to the Wally Show podcast.
I thought we prevented our podcast from going to Canada. Did I not put restrictions on this?
We have a lot of great Canadians.
Name one.
John.
Oh, darn, Clausen. Yeah, I do like the Clausens.
See?
They're my Canadian kryptonite. I do like them. As much as I don't like Canada, I like them.
And Kara.
And Kara.
Whatever her friend's name was.
I guess they're okay, too. I think Hawk Nelson ruined me for Canada. All right, so here's the Wally Show precast before we get to the show stuff. Now, you had a story. This is where we get to some of the stuff we didn't get a chance to get to. Oh, before we get to that.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. A whole lot. Yeah.
News.
Yeah, I'm feeling that today. I'm feeling a little skittish today. We had a big day, Pi Day, National Pi Day. What, 3.14 was
yesterday.
Pi Day yesterday. And so we were talking about going to show lunch in honor of that to a place called Pi 5, which does pizza pies in 5 minutes. Great. And so we actually went and had a good time. A lovely time was had by all. But
Zach spit on me.
Oh, that video is great. You can see that
fun.
by the way, at allwally.com. That was a science experiment.
You can't really see it very well in the video.
I asked Marty if you could see.
We might need to recreate.
Okay, we could do it with a bucket of water.
I was just glad to bring a science experiment to the Pi Day celebration.
Yeah, he cut his straw off and then took one part of the straw and blew over the top of the other straw, creating a vacuum. It works like an atomizer, so it sucks up the water.
Look at him trying to look as smart as you, Zach.
From the inside.
The water matriculates and then the dust particulates into
Am I not right, though, about the atomizer? It's the same concept?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Do you have to go to the bathroom, Betty?
No, I just, my calves hurt.
Oh.
Okay, so
I'm
she's
trying to
bouncing
stretch
up and down.
them. I'm
There's
sorry.
a whole lot of tangents going on today.
I'm
going to apologize for that in the beginning. But one of the funny things is we were waiting for Zach to go with us, and Rebe, our blog report girl, we're like, hey, Reebs, bring Reebs too. So Rebe comes down, and she's all like, yeah, I'm going to go. That'll be fun. We're like, yay. And the whole time, Becca had been screaming, show lunch, Wally's paying, show lunch. And then Betty jumps in on that, and everybody's jumping in.
have to.
I know, everyone's jumping in on Wally's paying, Wally's paying. And so I go, you know what, Rebe? For show lunch today, I'm paying for you. And her response was, no, like a good person. No,
She
you don't
doesn't
have to pay
put
for
up
me.
with you all day.
Yeah, she's like, no. And so we got there, and I waited. I went in front of her, and I paid for Rebe's lunch. Rebe's lunch only on show
I
lunch.
should have moved in between you.
You should have. It might would have happened. I don't know. Rebe earned that slot for being very kind and not selfish and not looking after her own interests. I love that Rebe kid. She'll be on the show tomorrow. Blog report. Okay, back to your story there, Burker.
I don't even want to say it now. I don't feel appreciated.
Say it.
This weekend coming up is a very big one because it's the second annual 7-Eleven Bring Your Own Cup Day.
Oh, this is the best.
The way this works is you can go to any 7-Eleven, any size container, as long as it's less than 10 inches in diameter, and you can fill it up with a Slurpee for $1.50.
That is the best. Like, if you don't have 7-Eleven, it's basically a slushie, like, because like Dairy Queen has those and things like that. Like, I thought every place had 7-Eleven, but they don't. It's a convenience store, but they don't.
Oh, I didn't know.
They have them in Thailand.
Yes.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere over there. That's the weirdest thing. But then I was thinking, how awesome of a promotion is that? Like, you get to like fill any container up with Slurpee stuff, and to challenge yourself would be so awesome. Like they have these concrete tube pouring things, and they're about 10 feet long.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, could you? You can
10
get
inch
them,
diameter.
Yeah,
and...
you could put it in there, cap the bottom of it, and then just sit there with a Slurpee machine for about an hour and run that thing dry.
Can you imagine the size of the headache that would give you?
Oh, your head would explode.
Oh, yeah.
goodness.
There were some interesting pictures last year that like people were taking like shoes and flower pots. And,
Oh, really?
like all sorts of things.
Oh,
Who
wow.
wants to drink a Slurpee out of a... like, you're losing at that point.
No,
more of a novelty.
Still winning. Like with the most bizarre like item and stuff like that at the Slurpee thing that day. That would be awesome. I could spend an hour there. This is a little quick thing about Kanye West. There was some wonderful news that came out about Kanye West. He figured out the most awesome thing about Kanye West.
Oh, okay.
How do you not love Kanye for things like this? Yesterday he tweeted, I have discovered my single greatest quality. Who tweets that? Like, and is serious about it. He's like, I care. Everyone can say anything they want about me, but they could never say that I didn't care. He went on to say, I care about people. That his famous quote, George Bush doesn't care about black people. I guess he's proving that he cares about people. I care about the future. I care about truth. I care about quality. I think human beings can create a utopia. I think that's wrong. I believe it's in us. No. All of that is all false. Like, our human nature, our sin nature will not ever allow that to happen.
I have looked through Kanye's Twitter sometimes, and I just think he, like, I don't know what is going on in his head. I think he just grabs random words out of the sky and then types it in all caps, and it doesn't make any sense sometimes. And you're like, where did this come from?
The thing I will say about this quote, like, when you do care, like, especially on the professional level, like, I get how if you care about your product, you could be labeled a diva. It's very easy to happen because if you're pushing people around you to do great work and they don't want to, or you're pushing them into places where they're not comfortable and trying to get them to rise to the level that you're setting, then for sure people will, oh, you're a diva, you know, this, that, and the other. On that level, I actually understand where Kanye's coming from because, like, I've made that argument before here. Like, I've fought for things for the show. And it was never like self-motivated. Like, it was never like I'm fighting to get the best parking space or I'm fighting to get something for this. It was always like to make the show better and improve that. But you could be labeled as difficult to work with in those cases. So I kind of understand like the diva thing of that, where I think a lot of celebrities get mislabeled because they get labeled as a diva, but they actually just care about what they're trying to do.
Yeah, because when you make somebody work harder on your product, say you're a musician, and you're pushing your studio engineer or whatever these long hours because you want to make it perfect, that can seem like diva behavior.
Right.
Or if you're pushing someone to make sure that a photography shoot goes perfectly, that I could see that. But I do think there's a line there too. Because I get caring about your product, but sometimes you need to make sure you're caring about other people too and how they're contributing to the product.
The diva part of that is if, like, with your music example, if, like, you're pushing to make something great and then, like, your guy is in there slaving away and you're having people bringing you coffee and taking care of you and catering you and you're not taking care of them at all. Or you go, hey, let me know how this comes out in the morning. You know, I will stay all night and make sure you get it done. Let me know how it comes out. But if you're in the trenches with them, then I don't think that's diva.
I read an interesting article the other day about how a lot of companies started going to this model where they had all these perks for employees, like Google doing all these, free lunches or jelly beans, whatever. They're finding that what really keeps people motivated to stay at a place, though, are fellow employees who are passionate.
Yes.
And so instead of doing perks that make people happy in the short term, like foster an environment that makes people passionate about what they're doing, and that will retain employees at a much higher rate than...
That's fascinating, honestly, because, I mean, we've created our own little island inside of this show, inside of the company, and we're all very passionate about me. And so... No, but we're all very passionate about the quality of what we do. And so that overrides a lot of the stuff. It overrides a lot of the hard work and this, that, and the other, because we all want to push each other to continue to be great.
Yeah, like I think
I'd love a doggy daycare. Don't get me wrong.
Like, it's much easier to tolerate someone of low skill with high passion than someone with high skill and no passion.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't stand working around or being around people like that.
Yeah, that burns you out quickly because you're just like, why don't you want to work? And I always bring it back to work inequity too. Like, if you're passionate, you're in there killing it and you're working hard. And if you have people around you that aren't doing the same, it's that work inequity, and that breeds resentment in them. And all of a sudden, and then that's where it implodes. But if you have people that are living, eating, and breathing what you're doing, it's a great time. I worked at a station. I was very fortunate. My first job in radio was at a place where everyone was like that. Everyone at the company was pushing everybody. So it wasn't even just a show thing. It was a station thing. And as a result, we were amazing. Like, we tore the town up, but it was everybody wanting to be there and passionate about that drove the product to be better. Ultimately, we didn't have perks. I was making no money. I couldn't believe it. Like, I look back on it, I can't believe I was even able to survive. I was making so little money, but I didn't care. I'm like, this is the best ever.
I think where you and I probably differ on passion a little bit, you want the people who are all in for, like, their whole life and all in on passion on something. I want people, like, all in and passionate about stuff within the boundaries of work.
Right.
like I am not for, the people who do 15-hour days and sacrifice their family and their healthy life balance.
Right.
But when people are doing work, I think being passionate 1,000% in is important.
I think you and I have a difference on that as far as what is a boundary.
Yes.
But I think, wait, you look at you. Yes. What are you talking about? Your life has been so good here.
I know.
Like, you guys have no idea idea the amount of work that could be levied upon you with this job. Well, you would quit, but that's okay.
See?
But the thing about it is like it's a different world here, and you got to admit, I've chilled out a lot.
Oh my goodness,
like
yeah.
a lot on that, because I mean, you and I, when we started Total Access, it was you and me and Betty sometimes, because she was only a couple.
In her defense, she wasn't paid.
Right, she wasn't paid.
Golly,
and,
put me in a negative light.
no, and you were only here a couple days. Like you weren't here
2 days
every
a week.
day. Yeah,
Right.
so it was like it was Zach and I building that show, which then morphed into this show, and I love like what we do together. But man, our hours and the work we put into
every day
things was
was
insane.
10, 12 plus hours, and late into the get home at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's a miracle, honestly, that we didn't burn out in that time, because that was real close, and that we didn't end up hating each other, because that happens.
I never even considered leaving because I thought every month was your last. Like, I thought every week was your last week. So, like, if I can just bear one more week, he'll be gone.
You're just trying to outlast me. Great strategy.
And then
Is
you
that
look
what you're
back
still
and you're like,
doing?
man, this has been 3 years.
Yeah, he's still doing that. And it's 9 years later almost, man. I know. One more week, that should be his motto. Wally's going to implode. Well, I don't know. We'll see how this next year goes.
Joke's on you, Zach.
All right. I have got to get to the dentist. And I got to get out of here, so I'm running a little short on time.
Like cavities, all that sugar.
No, that's the crazy thing. Like when I started taking better care of my teeth, because I used to get cavities because of all that stuff. I go to the dentist. I used to worry because it's like, okay, we're going to have to fill 6 cavities. But I think after a point in time, you have more porcelain in your mouth than teeth. It's a non-issue. So like I haven't had a cavity in 5 years, maybe.
How many have you had in your life?
At one time, when I went to the dentist, I hadn't gone for probably 5 years, and I finally got dental insurance, and they were like, you have 9 cavities. And I had to get 9 cavities filled in 2 sessions.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that was not fun.
I had one my entire life until I went to a new dentist a couple years ago, and all of a sudden, so you have 2 appointments over 6 months. I think I had 8.
What?
Then I changed dentists, and I've only had 1 since then.
No.
Yeah.
So they were telling you
they were totally
telling you had cavities?
Yeah. They drilled 3 teeth without even novocating because they're like, it's shallow enough. We don't even need to dull it.
Oh.
So I'm pretty sure they were just insurance scamming us and drilling my teeth I
absolutely love my dentist.
Kills me.
Like, I have to go for a cleaning. That's what I got to go for. And, like, she uses the, I know they have, like, tools. She uses the old school pick and scrape thing.
Ugh.
I know. You would say, ugh. This girl is so gentle. Like, Brenna is the best. Like, I sit there and I actually almost fall asleep.
That's my goal every time is to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's
relaxing.
crazy how someone with a fish hook in your mouth can be that gentle and have it not hurt. That's a good hygienist, man. She is worth her weight in gold. And I've told him that too. I'm like, you need to make sure you keep this girl forever because she's amazing. But anyway, I got to go get that done so I have fresh breath and clean teeth. And the podcast will sound squeaky clean tomorrow. So I apologize.
Can't wait.
I know. So there you go. On with the rest of the podcast. This is the Wally Show, and the other day we were talking about losing weight, dropping a few pounds, and Becca has done really well at heaping off the weight that she's lost so far. I, on the other hand, have not done such a great done such a great job of that, and I think it might come down to snacking. Like snacking
Oh yeah, for sure.
is just the worst part of this for me. Like, why are you smiling, Zach?
Because you just snack literally a whole day, and like that's a revelation to you is fantastic.
I'm a grazing animal, and so I know you're supposed to eat a lot of little meals throughout the day. So I just combine them into one giant long snack, like all day long. And so that's what's hosing me. And they said that there are like 3 different times a day that it's really hard, like it's really easy to mess up your diet. And those times are at 11:01 a.m. Like that's a time where I guess people start craving something, especially if you don't eat a big breakfast. Do you guys all eat breakfast?
I do like a bar.
Yeah, I only eat breakfast, really like a big breakfast when I'm on vacation.
Right.
I don't really eat a lot during
I usually do smoothies.
Yeah, I've started back on the smoothies, hoping, because that kind of fills you up a little bit. But I find that by, like, say I have a smoothie in the morning at 8, I'm hungry again at 8:01, and so like it doesn't quite fill me up.
The struggle is real for you.
It is.
I've seen.
It is. So 11:01 is a danger time. So if you are like trying to lose weight, maybe you could find like these times. Maybe this will help out because then you can make sure that you're busy during these times. You know, and you take your mind off of like snacking. The other time is in the afternoon, 3:14, because usually people like start to want like their work day. You get to that point where you're starting to get tired, and that's where Snickers came in with their amazing commercial about eating at 3 o'clock. And they knew this study. And so they did a whole thing about snacking to get you going through the end of your day. And it worked on me multiple times. And then there's also 9:31 at night, which is probably the worst you could do, I would imagine, Zach, is like that late night eating before you go to bed.
I don't actually buy into that.
You don't?
No.
I'm surprised.
When they've done studies with rats about feeding them different times, like right before bed, or like there's no difference.
Oh, you know
but
what?
there's a lot of people that completely argue the other way. So
I'm so hungry right now that eating a rat sounds good.
Ew.
Yeah, that's a problem. See, that's where I'm at right now. I want a snack.
What about tater tots?
Oh, tater tots are the worst.
Those are your
You're the
weakness.
worst person
That's
for-
your kryptonite.
You're the worst person for bringing those up right
Let's
now.
go get them.
Yeah, we're going to Sonic.
All right, I'm going to play a couple long songs, and I think we can make it. This is the Wally Show, and, there are tons of award shows every year. Oscars, Grammys, MTV Awards, VMAs, blah, blah, blah. But one that I always kind of look at, because I'm curious about, is the Kids' Choice Awards on Nickelodeon.
Do they still slime people?
They do.
Oh,
They do.
good. Okay.
Yeah, I love that they do that. And like big celebrities that, you would think, oh, they're not going to get slimed. They, slime them, and it's funny. And the kids go crazy and nuts and stuff. And I used to work at Radio Disney back in the day. And so, I understand, the kid world and, how cool that is. But the reason that I watch the Kids' Choice Awards or follow what happens in them is because I'm curious what kids are consuming. Because it's like how you parent is different for every parent, and what you allow your kids to be exposed to is different. So when you look at some of the winners, you go, all right, Jennifer Lawrence was favorite actress. Okay, so you get that. The Hunger Games. So tons of kids are watching the Hunger Games. Will Ferrell, their favorite actor. And that's a weird one. Like Betty just went,
Maybe they still like Elf?
Yeah, that's the thing. Because he had
years
that.
ago.
He had that new movie, Daddy's Home. And I thought that was a movie that I would take my 17-year-old to, and ended up I went and saw it first. And there's one part in there that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't want my 17-year-old seeing that, let alone a 13-year-old. So kids obviously are aware of him. Is it because they're going and seeing his movies, which I don't think is a great thing.
Well,
I
he
don't think
does make appearances on late night shows.
Yeah.
So maybe.
So that's where is he, becoming popular with kids? Justin Bieber won favorite male singer, Ariana Grande female, Fifth Harmony best group, blah, blah, blah. But then the TV one surprised me a little bit. So the Kids' Choice Award for favorite male TV star, who do you think that was? Or from what show do you think it was?
What are kids watching? Like a Disney Channel? Well, who's on Disney
See,
anymore?
that's what you would think, but
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's a mainstream, regular primetime television show comedy.
Comedy. Modern Family?
The female actress was Sofia Vergara.
Okay.
And so, again, not a kid's show.
Right. That's odd still.
Not a kid show. My daughter, 17, doesn't watch Modern Family. Not a kid show.
I'm coming up empty. I don't know. I can't think of anybody.
I know. Well, here you go. Big Bang Theory, Jim Parsons. Way not a kid show.
Oh, no.
Completely not a kid show, man. The concept or the themes and stuff inside the show are way beyond what little 8-year-olds and 13-year-olds should be watching.
There's stuff I'm embarrassed to watch with my parents as a grown adult.
Yeah, seriously. And so it's but that's what just fascinates me about this list, because it just shows you what kids are consuming. And so, as parents, not to be all crazy and watchdoggy, but it's our job to be vigilant about what we bring into our homes and what we allow our kids to be exposed to. And it's different for everybody. Every family is a little bit different, so you got to manage that yourself. But it's just definitely a good barometer as you see this kind of stuff to go, oh yeah, maybe there are some things that I need to look at that I have in my house that I'm watching, or that I'm letting my kids watch, that maybe I should check out a little bit closer.
Here's everything you need to know in under 3 minutes.
This is madness.
Or slightly more if Wally gets worked up.
Nothing grinds my gears worse than some chowderhead who doesn't know when to keep his big trap shut.
It's the Wally Show News.
And Becca's going to get you caught up with what's going on right now.
Chipotle has had a rough year between the salmonella and the E. coli breakouts, and of course it's hurt their profits and their stocks. And the co-CEOs of the company, there's two of them, even had to take a 50% pay cut last year.
Oh, probably the right thing to do.
But before you feel too bad, they still made 14 million each.
Oh my goodness, they were at 28 million each before that.
Yeah,
it's amazing what CEOs get paid. Now I know they do a lot of work that none of us, it's specialized, and none of us know how to do math like that. But the reality is I could give someone E. coli, and for 14 million, I'd be willing to do that. That is insane.
No, but you'd have to do some math with that E. coli.
Oh, then I'm out.
Okay.
I read an interesting article, and I don't know if this is true. It was just on Facebook that there's an investigation going on that might have been some kind of corporate espionage.
What?
The E. coli outbreak
from the Moe's people? Was it Moe's?
It might have been. Yeah, I'm not throwing names, but because of the particular strain to show up in the different places it did is almost impossible, and some of the strains were only found in labs before, and just some really weird things that make you go, that's very interesting.
Or it was that Chihuahua from Taco Bell. I bet he did it.
He's dead.
He did it. Oh, whoops.
Hackers were able to get into the national bank system in Bangladesh last month and tried to transfer out $1 billion. But they made a classic mistake. They had set up fake nonprofits and organizations to transfer the funds into. But on one of them, they misspelled foundation, which is a pretty,
It's like all those emails you get where the English is very bad and poorly written, and then you've got misspellings and things, and there's a problem. This is I'm really not the heir to some fortune.
Right, so they got flagged, but they still made off with $81 million. So not quite $1 billion.
Wow, that's a big difference on a typo from $81 million to $1 billion.
Yeah.
I hope one of those hackers lost their job over that, because that's just insane.
I feel bad for them.
I do. That poor guy that didn't spell it right. That's crazy.
And finally, for kids, it's the best news in the world when your parents tell you you're going to Disney World. Well, one family has been saving and planning for a trip to Disney and decided to surprise their kids. So they told the kids that they were going to take a day trip to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is where the kids grew up.
That's just as good as Disney.
It's not.
If you don't like rides.
it's just a town.
If you like restaurants, they have a bunch of restaurants.
They do have
for
a lot
some
of restaurants.
Reason.
I heard someone talking the other day that's where a bunch of retail and restaurants do test grounds.
Why there?
Because it's just
a
perfect representation of Crossroads and
Still not Disney.
Yeah, weird.
No, but Disney for restaurants.
Yes, it is.
But on the way to Murfreesboro, the parents pulled over and told the kids that they were actually on their way to Disney World.
Which is every kid's dream.
Of course, but it didn't go as planned.
We're going to Disney World!
Right now. Y'all will be out of school for a week.
Wait, Pete!
Honey.
Well, I want to go to Murfreesboro.
Oh, my word. He's crying in the back seat because he wanted to go to Murfreesboro.
Right there. That's when you send that kid to Murfreesboro and you go to Disney and take the vacation yourself. Or you pick another child that's going to be grateful. That's the worst when you try to do something really great for your kids and they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Because they're kids, man.
Right.
They don't know.
And he was 8 and he had never been before and didn't know what to expect.
And when when you tell a kid something, they get it in their head and they have all these things of what it's going to be. And then any change from that wrecks him, as is evidenced by that clip. That's funny. All right, that's going to do it for your news this hour. Thank you, Miss Becca. We are going to read some email. Even though I don't read well, I think I might be dyslexic. So please don't make fun of the way I read. Wally at allwally.com is how you can email me with whatever's on your mind, like Simon did. Simon said, hey, I'm... Simon, and I'm 14, living in Vancouver, Washington. I'm a faithful potty for 2 years. Nicely done, Simon. I'm going to meet Toby Mac this weekend. So what is one thing you want me to ask him or tell him? So I thought, okay, I got something. I had emailed him back and said, ask Wally ask Toby when Wally will ever be allowed to do a guest rap on one of Wally's album or one of Toby's albums. We're interchangeable. Of one of Toby's albums, or do it live. I would love to do the Jesus Freak live rap with Toby sometime. And so this was his response to Simon. Toby's said, of course Wally can. What? I don't believe it at all. But then he says, but he lost his man card years ago. What is that? We weren't even talking about that. That wasn't even on the table there, Tobes. You don't want a war with me, Toby. You don't want a war with me. But even Toby taking a shot at me there about my man card. So I'm just going to take the first half of that and say next time he's in town, I'm going to push him on that.
It's a verbal contract.
I want to do it live. There was a man in the desert with something in his head. I'm going to work on it.
But we'll practice.
It's going to be fantastic. Let me see. Hey, I'm a 24-year-old guy. I never heard of the Wally Show until a few weeks ago at the Rock and Worship Roadshow when you guys were in Boise. And now you're on our new station, Project 88.7. I love the show. And you guys, I just started binge listening to all your podcasts, and it relieves stress during the work week. You guys make me laugh, keep me from losing my mind. Betty, this is a guy who just started listening. Betty, I gotta say, I got a crush on you listening to your charming slight drawl and your fun personality. I wish I was a few years older so I could come there and take you to dinner at Cracker Barrel.
Wow.
So that's nice. Nice. Keep that in your back pocket.
That's very nice. I don't know what he's talking about with the drawl, but
no,
but,
not at
I mean,
I'm sorry,
that's
with the
sweet
what?
of him.
I don't know what he's talking about with that drawl.
That is not how I
When
sound.
you say drawl with a drawl, that's the best, actually. I love your accent. And then finally, hey, Wally, long-time listener. Love you guys. Love the show. Thanks for not being cheesy. Thank you. I had a little fun in GarageBand and thought the rest of your crew would like to use this as a ringtone or something. Yeah, I know what this is. This is a song about my foot and the rumors about me having gout, which medically have been cleared and do not have gout, old man disease. And I actually have a stress fracture and I'm in a boot.
You have brittle bones.
I have brittle bones like an old woman.
So old woman disease. Great.
So maybe gout would have been better. But in any event, Jason put music to this and as a gout song for me.
Gout, Wally will pout. These are the feet he can't live without. So pick up. He's calling me now, so pick up.
There you go. The gout song. You guys can use that as a
stuck in my head.
ringtone. Yeah,
It's my new favorite song.
It's a hit right there. Well, Jason, I appreciate you and everybody else. If you want to email me, it's very simple. Wally@allwally.com. This is The Wally Show, and from time to time when artists come in, we'll challenge them because they write songs inspired by scripture all the time, and so we'll find like obscure verses in the Bible or tough things in the Bible to write about and say, hey, write a song about this. And we did that with the guys from Sidewalk Prophets, and it's a verse in Ezekiel that talks about a valley being filled with bones and like muscle being put back on them and the rattling of the bones as they came alive, and it sounds scary. And so we're like, hey, could you guys make a song out of that? And so the guys from Sidewalk, did the best that they could and wrote a song about the Valley of the Dry Bones, but then also wrote it kind of from their dog's perspective, which is kind of funny. Here, check this out.
I died and went to heaven. I was having a good time, just hanging out with Jesus and my buddy Brian. But I began to wonder, where did my best friend go? Well, Jesus said, it's okay, Dave, he's in the Valley of Bones. That got me concerned and wondering, but Jesus knows what he's doing. He always has a plan. And he said this: do you remember Ezekiel and the bones my dad brought to life? After a while, all those people all passed, and the bones came with them when they died. All dogs go to heaven, everybody knows. And you'll find your best friend Fido living in the Valley of Bones. Yeah, the Valley of Bones. There's no mailmen and no cats in the Valley of Bones. Well, there's chew toys wherever you're at. All dogs go to heaven, everybody knows. And the name of their subdivision, yeah, it's called the Valley of Bones. The Valley of Bones, where bacon grows on trees. In the Valley of Bones, there's fire hydrants and frisbees. Yeah, all dogs go to heaven, oh, everybody knows. So when you get here, come find your best friend playing in the Valley of Bones. Yeah, he'll be waiting in the Valley of Bones. Yeah, living in the Valley of Bones.
So there you go, Sidewalk Prophets. I didn't see that coming, like a comedy song about that.
Yeah,
And,
definitely theologically sound for sure.
Yes, 100%. But then, like, we had played that before, and somebody said, oh, Chris Tomlin has a version of a serious song about that verse from Ezekiel with Lecrae kind of rapping through it. Here, check this out.
to you, and you will come to life. So I prophesied as I was commanded. As I was prophesying, there was a noise, a rattling sound, and the bones came.
So that's actually the scripture verses that Lecrae is doing. And it's weird because I did a little research on this to find out what this is about. Because there are things in the Bible sometimes you're like, I don't understand what that is. And so I want to, share a little bit of that with you. But the reason this whole thing started was because I heard another song about the dry bones.
Oh, my goodness.
Another one by...
So popular.
I know, by one Miss Lauren Daigle. What? And I absolutely love this song. So what we'll do is we'll break that down and actually play a little bit of that for you here within 15 on The Wally Show. This is The Wally Show, and when you really dig into the Bible, there are some stories in there that don't get covered on the flannelgram when you were a kid at church, like at Sunday school. You're like, okay, now wait, what is this verse in Ezekiel about a valley filled with bones and someone commanding them to come to life? That's a little creepy. But when you get down and you dig into it, like I did, because this all started from hearing a Lauren Daigle song. I've only heard a few songs about this. There's a bunch of songs about the Psalms and all the things about how awesome God is, but very few people have tackled the verse in Ezekiel 37 about the Valley of the Dry Bones. And so I had come across this song by Lauren Daigle that I absolutely loved. I'm like, oh, that's what she's singing about. And so I did a little digging because I didn't know. So here's a little bit of it, the background. The prophet Ezekiel is writing about a vision that he had, and he starts by writing, I was carried away by the Spirit of the Lord to the valley filled with bones. I should do this with scary music. It would sound more epic. He then says that God told him to speak life into the valley filled with bones, and as he did, he says, as I spoke, there was a rattling noise, and all the bones across the valley attached, and each body came together and attached themselves as complete skeletons. Then I watched as the muscles and flesh formed over their bones, then skin formed over their bodies, but they still had no breath in them. That was cool. So anyway, that sounds like a scary song from the 80s. So anyway, but you're like, okay, so wow, that's kind of creepy. How can anything good come out of that? But what the story is about is that this was kind of God saying that the nation of Israel has become like old dry bones and that they needed God to breathe life back into them. And I think that's a message that can be applicable to our lives today, that we get tired in our faith, we become dead in our faith, and we need that God to breathe back into
spiritual awakening.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and that's what this song is kind of all about. Here, I want to play a little bit for you because this isn't like a single. This was just something I heard on her CD that I have, and I thought it was really good. It's a little bit of Lauren Daigle. Here, check this out. I think this girl is amazing. Like, her music is awesome, and that's just a song on the album, not even like a single. And so the whole thing's good. You can check that out if you want to. That's Lauren Daigle with some dry bones.
They say it's smart not to talk about religion or politics.
He's the logic vacuum.
Well, we've never been that smart. It's the Wally Show News.
And Becca's going to get you caught up right now. What's going on?
Sarah Palin, who has endorsed Donald Trump for president, has had to cancel all of her Trump-related appearances yesterday after her husband Todd was in a serious snowmobile accident.
Aww.
But apparently it wasn't too bad because she changed her mind and ended up attending a Trump rally in Tampa yesterday afternoon.
Thank you guys for your prayers for my husband, who is recovering right now in ICU after a little wreck on a snow machine. So thank you. Big wreck. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to believe in that. Like, you're like, thank you for praying for my husband who was in a little accident in ICU. Oh, big wreck. Sorry, not sure what I'm talking about.
You sound like a parrot.
I know, that was a dead-on Sarah Palin. I'm curious about what his status actually is. Like, was he seriously hurt or not? I mean,
yeah, he was in ICU.
Yeah, no joke.
But
usually.
I mean, he's doing okay today, obviously. And she did use the incident to talk about how it puts things in perspective and makes you realize that there are things that you don't have time for, like protesters wasting time at rallies.
Oh,
that's how she tied it in. So.
There you go. All right. Well, good to see her back in the spotlight.
We might make fun of Zach's efforts to diet, but he's most likely going to live longer than all of us. Scientists have discovered that occasional partial fasting could lead to longevity.
Oh, yeah, because he was rocking that for a while, where he'd fast a day out of the week or 2 days out of the week, something like that.
Yeah, I do that every now and again. So.
You still do?
Yeah, there's been a lot of science behind that. That's actually really good to give your body a chance to rebuild. Like your body, when it's digesting food, is just worried about that. But when you're actually hungry, it has time to take that energy and focus on repairing things, rebuilding things.
And it's not total fasting, correct? You just do a lower calorie that
Yeah,
day?
there's different ways to do it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's called intermittent fasting.
Yes.
If you want to Google it.
Oh, well, there you go. That sounds like something I will not Google today.
And that's why you're going to die before us all.
Exactly.
And not just because you're old.
I'm going to die happy.
Intermittent snacking.
Yeah, you guys will be so angry at the life you've lived. I lived to be 105, but my life is horrible. Wally went out at 62, but he ate caramels every day.
Really? You're going to make it to 62?
Probably not.
Okay. We debated yesterday whether or not it was okay to share your Netflix password with a friend. And not that this should persuade anyone to be unethical, but a lot of people are doing it. Apparently, 1/3 of all American Netflix users don't pay for a Netflix account.
Wow. That's a lot, man.
That's uneasy to me. Like, yeah, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, because we talked about this. We even did a 5 calls it like, is it wrong? Is it right? It was almost unanimous of like, I think it was unanimous of people saying, no, I don't have a problem with it at all.
And people are using two different points with that. First of all, the CEO's comments that he said before, quote, we love people sharing Netflix. That's a positive thing, not a negative thing. And of course, the service actually encourages it too, because for $8 a month, you can have 2 people log in. That's what we talked about, having 2 screens.
Right.
And $12 a month is 4 screens.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. Like you're paying for a subscription, and it's not on your TV. There, it's wherever you want to watch it, or whatever. You
TV. Being the key part of that.
Oh, I don't know, or like your family or your friends. And what if you have friends that are like family? I don't know. But when the guy who runs the thing, the CEO, goes, yeah, fine, I don't care. That to me is carte blanche. Like that's like, yeah, I'll do that every day. Then thank you. I don't even like Netflix, but I have my friends' passwords. I'm gonna go home and binge watch everything I can today.
You're just gonna turn it on and walk away and let it play all day.
So he can't get on it either. This is the 3 Strikes game. They will probably lose.
Hey!
I'm making a jingle here as we go for the 3 Strikes game.
I don't like it. The correct jingle would be, Wally always cheats at this. He is not on our side.
I'm not on your side. I'm rooting against you because I'm rooting for everyone else to be able to play this game. Because the way it works is I have like a top 10 list. In this case, a top 10 list of the most popular kids books, like from when you were a kid. And Becca, Zach, and Betty get to play together on this, and they each need to get an answer right to keep the game going. If they miss at any time, then it is a strike, 3 strikes, and they are out. But the reason you want to root against them is because then you will get a shot if they fail to get 5 answers right on this top 10 list. We are setting off the number 1 answer, and we're taking it out of the running because Becca knows this one already, so that's not fair.
What if Betty or I guess it?
It's too easy, too. Like,
no,
so,
hey, see, right out of the gate, we haven't even guessed anything.
Because you could have already told them.
I didn't.
Now we're down to 9 possible answers.
I know. I hate this game.
Can we do the honest, truthful thing?
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Honest, truthful. She hasn't told me.
Oh, it's so easy. All right, fine. We'll go with Betty. Betty, you get to go first.
Okay, I'm going to say the hungry caterpillar.
If you don't... It's awesome. And are you sad that I went with her first? No, that's great. Did you listen? You read The Hungry Caterpillar a lot as a kid?
That's a good answer. I think it's a good answer.
Is it really?
Why is it funny? I'm so confused.
It's just a funny name for a book. I've never heard of it.
Oh.
It's the
I would have thought it was number 1, but...
It might be called The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
Oh.
Anything that has to do with caterpillar.
Anything. Either one.
All right, anything with caterpillars.
Don't give it
How in the world?
I know.
That is one of the most popular kids' books.
Is it really?
Yes.
I just thought it was one that her parents wrote on a brown paper bag.
I think it's the one that I read when we had to read children's books on a thing a couple months ago. I think that's what I read.
Yeah, no, that did not make the list. I'm really surprised by that. Really surprised. All right, let's go to Zach here.
I'm going to go with green eggs and ham.
Green eggs and ham.
That's a good answer.
Everybody
Good
like
answer.
that one? Everybody like that one? Well, you should.
Yeah.
All right. There it is. Nicely done. But not the number 1 answer. Believe
still
it or
not the obvious number 1 answer that you're going to take off the list.
I was really surprised. All right, so that means that Becca gets a shot here, but you cannot say the number 1 answer because you already know.
I know.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Goodnight Moon.
Goodnight Moon.
That's a good guess.
Thank you.
I don't know that one. I don't know many of these. That one is I Am So Sorry. Right!
You know it is.
This is the best you guys have ever done. Not a single strike. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, 1 strike. You have 1 strike thanks to Betty. So, Betty, your chance here to redeem yourself one time. What do you think? Children's books.
Can I
Nope.
talk with my...
You cannot talk with your friends.
Okay.
This is a solo part here.
I'm going to go with The Pokey Little Puppy.
Yes, The Pokey Little Puppy. Once again, is that a real book or your parents?
Yes! Oh my gosh, it's real.
Really? Unbelievable.
No, it's popular. It's a golden book. All the kids in my class had it. Except for me.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. No.
She had the discount version. She had the yellow book.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So that's 2 strikes. Betty getting
Guys,
both
I'm
of those
sorry.
strikes. All right.
Okay.
You got
Okay,
one
we'll
more
come back.
chance. That's okay. You're still alive in this game. You're not dead yet, but you are on the fence here. You got one more strike to go. So again, you're pulling against them. You're rooting against the guys here because if they fail to get 5 right, then they are officially out and you get a shot at winning. And we'll find out how this goes in 15 right here on The Wally Show. This is The Wally Show, and we are playing the 3 strikes game here where Betty, Becca, and Zach are trying to get 5 answers off of a top 10 list of the most popular kids' books. And so far, they have 2 strikes, thanks to one Miss Betty Rock.
I'm so sorry.
Responsible for both strikes today.
But it's ridiculous.
I know. The list, they just don't read what you read, apparently. So, Zach, we're up to you now. What is your next guess here for the 3 strikes game?
This was my favorite book as a child,
Yeah.
and I'm 100% sure it's on there.
Okay.
Or your list is invalid.
Okay.
The Little Engine That Could.
Oh, good answer. Good answer.
For sure.
The Little Engine That Could.
Yes, and my mom just gave me back my copy of it.
Really?
Which is so nostalgic, looking at all the pictures of trains. And,
I'm just curious, what were some of the other things you had? What were some of your other guesses?
Polar Express, which is seasonal. It's a Christmas thing.
yeah.
Curious George.
Yeah.
Amelia Bedelia.
Wow.
Hands Aren't for Hitting. That's Anna's current favorite.
Hands Aren't for Hitting?
Yes, it's a horrible book that I change all the words to and make her mom mad.
Oh, really?
I need to learn from a childhood psychologist at what age you can't keep jacking with words on stuff.
Oh, man.
Because I
don't
know she can't understand. Well, she can now a little more.
Yeah,
What
but
do you change?
Yeah, I messed up my kid. So
I don't know.
Be careful.
Hands
tell
Are
her
for
to-
Hitting.
Oh.
Or
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
You know, there's just so many.
Be careful. I messed up mine. All right. So the Little Engine That Could. Look at you.
Absolutely on there.
No!
Throw the list out.
Nope.
Not valid.
But one of the ones that you did mention was on
No.
there. Yeah, see, if you had gone with one of those other ones. you
Hands
would've
Aren't
been
for
in.
Hitting?
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry about that.
Zach.
So Zach has made you guys strike out, which
Way to
means-
go,
Can we
Zach.
have one more?
That has to be on
Wait,
there.
you had 2 strikes, Betty.
Hey,
All
yeah,
right.
I'm looking pretty good at this
I know,
thing.
you're all right. Okay, so now the game shifts over to you. You have a shot at winning this right now. 877-91-WALLY. All you have to do is get one of the answers right on this top 10 list of most popular kids' books. And I'm still surprised that no one got the number 1 answer yet. So
Yeah, you're like, it's so obvious we're taking it off.
When you hear it, you'll be like, duh. Yeah, so, yeah, you will. 877-91-WALLY is the number if you want to play the game right now. This is the Wally Show, and the guys have struck out on 3 strikes game here. That means Zach, Becca, and Betty did not get 5 answers right on the list of top 10 most popular kids' books, which means, Ashley, that's good news for you. You have a shot at winning this now. All you have to do is get 1 answer right on this top 10 list. So what do you think made the list?
I think it's Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. That is a book I've never heard of.
It was my favorite.
Really? And apparently I'm not the only one that hasn't heard of it because it did not make this top 10 list. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm sure it's still a fabulous work of literary art.
It was, for sure.
Lakin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
We've had yet another strike. Everybody is striking out on this game of the most popular kids' books, the top 10 list. All you have to do is get one of these. Can you do that?
Maybe, I hope so. Is it Curious George?
Curious George. This is one that while we were playing songs, Zach actually mentioned as a possibility.
Yeah, that's a great guess. Anna loves it. I didn't go with this one, though, because I thought it could be a series instead of an individual book.
Well, guess what? You should have gone with this. You wouldn't have struck out because Lakin has won! Nicely done, Lakin. That was one of my favorites as a kid. All the Dr. Seuss books and Curious George, that was my favorite. Because they were easy to read, colorful. Some of the other things that made this, The Giving Tree. That one. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
That's a real popular book.
There's a song about it. Listen to it, it'll make you cry.
Oh, no, I won't. I don't want to listen to anything that will make me cry. Let me see. Little Women made the list. That one's weird.
Oh, yeah, I read that as a kid.
Did you really? Charlotte's Web. Was anyone going to say that?
Yes, that was on my list.
Oh,
and
but Zach struck out before it got to you.
We were even cheating, and I told Zach to say it next.
Oh, you were cheating?
But The Little Engine That Could is even
know.
a better kids book, young kids.
I know.
Nope. The Nancy Drew Mysteries, Where the Wild Things Are. I never read that, but that was a real popular book. The number one answer that I couldn't believe that people didn't get was The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. That one seemed pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then number 5 on the list was the Bible. The Bible made the list there. So
I was going to throw that out there, but then there's parts of the Bible that shouldn't be a children's book.
Oh, you kidding me? That part where they cut the Goliath's head off and put it on a spear and travel it around for a while? That sounds fun.
I came home from church one night when I was about 5 or 6 asking what Song of Solomon meant.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was a fun conversation.
All right, well, congratulations, Lakin. You are the big winner today.
Yay, thank you.
This is the Wally Show. So the other day, I was kind of just talking about like my life and where I'm at and looking at the future and stuff and trying to figure out, all right, well, what do I want to do, in the next few years of my life? Do I want to keep doing this? Do I not? I was kind of emotional for me, and people responded. It wasn't designed to be like, oh, tell me how great I am, but I was really moved by people sharing things that the show has meant to them, and so I was very thankful for that moment. But somebody had sent me a link to a TED Talk, and I thought, and they're like, I think you should hear this based on where your head's at. This might help you. And so the premise of this TED Talk was that this guy was at a college and he was, handing out lollipops, promoting something he was doing. And he encountered this girl and just had like a quick interchange, or exchange with her that carried way more weight than he ever thought. So here, check this out.
And you were walking along and you were handing the lollipops out to people in line and talking about Shinorama. And all of a sudden, you got to me, and you just stopped, and you stared. And then you looked at the guy next to me, and you smiled, and you reached in your bucket, you pulled out a lollipop, and you held it out to him. And you said, you need to give a lollipop to the beautiful woman standing next to you. And she said, I have never seen anyone get more embarrassed faster in my life. He turned beet red, and he wouldn't even look at me. He just kind of held the lollipop out like this. And I felt so bad for this dude that I took the lollipop. And as soon as I did, you got this incredibly severe look on your face, and you looked at my mom and my dad, and you said, look at that. Look at that. First day away from home, and already she's taking candy from a stranger. And she said everybody lost it. 20 feet in every direction, everyone started to howl. And I know this is cheesy, and I don't know why I'm telling you this, but in that moment when everyone was laughing, I knew that I shouldn't quit. I knew that I was where I was supposed to be, and I knew that I was home. And I haven't spoken to you once in the 4 years since that day, but I heard that you were leaving. And I had to come up and tell you that you've been an incredibly important person in my life, and I'm gonna miss you. Good luck. And she walks away, and I'm flattened. And she gets about 6 feet away, she turns around and smiles and goes, you should probably know this too. I'm still dating that guy 4 years later. A year and a half after I moved to Toronto, I got an invitation to their wedding. Here's the kicker, I don't remember that. I have no recollection of that moment, and I've searched my memory banks because that is funny, and I should remember doing it, and I don't remember it.
And it's crazy to think that something that he doesn't even remember had such a huge impact on her life, even to the point where she ended up marrying this person that he, in essence, introduced her to completely by accident. And so he goes on to talk about, like, the lollipop moments in life that sometimes we aren't even aware of.
Maybe the biggest impact I'd ever had on anyone's life. A moment that had a woman walk up to a stranger 4 years later and say, you've been an incredibly important person in my life, was a moment that I didn't even remember. How many of you guys have a lollipop moment? A moment where someone said something or did something that you feel fundamentally made your life better?
And I think that we all have those in life, and the weird thing is we don't know about most of them at all, and stuff. It's something to definitely keep in mind and be mindful of as we walk through life, and we affect people in different ways as we kind of share our lives with them. And it was just a cool moment, so I'm very appreciative of the people that shared that TED Talk with me.
These are the least important stories out of Hollywood, but nonetheless entertaining. It's the least of these.
Betty Rock is going to break it down for you right now. What you got?
Well, we're going to talk about The Bachelor, so this is a spoiler alert. So
Yes.
if you don't know, if you didn't watch, then you may want to just turn us down for a little bit.
Yeah, because this was the culmination, the finale.
Yes, the season finale.
Who did he choose?
So after saying I love you to 2 different women, Bachelor Ben actually made up his mind and he proposed to Lauren B.
Lauren, will you marry me?
Oh, that's That's so sweet. You chose wrong.
No, he did not. I was all for Lauren.
He did. No, he should have chose JoJo, but he avoided like family drama with JoJo because his family, her family, I don't think liked him, and Lauren B's did. And when you marry the family, so that maybe not a bad idea.
Well, and that it goes to say that he did have to let JoJo know that it wouldn't be her.
I came into this not knowing if I was going to find love. I found it with you, but I found it with somebody else.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's
like
terrible.
the way they lead into that is just brutal. I found it with you. You know?
I hate when they make him go to the proposal stage.
Yeah.
It's like, just get rid of him early.
I know, that's just brutal. And then
This
she
is
even said,
awkward.
like, he said he'd never blindside me. I'm like, wait, you're on a show that's built for blindsides.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she got sent home, and then they announced the new Bachelorette, which was a surprise.
Which was JoJo.
JoJo, yeah, that's really quickly. She's rebounded. She's over it. Guess she's moving on.
Yep.
Maybe this isn't a great show.
We all know that Lindsay Lohan has had her share of troubles, and now it looks like the trouble has hit her bank account. The stats are in. Her net worth is $500,000.
Oh, that's not a lot for someone who's made millions doing movies.
This shows you how bad that is. She's on the same platform as Justin Guarini, American Idol Season 1 runner-up.
Runner-up? The Kelly
the curly
with
haired
love
guy.
from Kelly and Justin movie
Yes.
guy? He still has $500,000 left? That's a miracle.
Well, he just said that Dr. Pepper commercial, Diet Dr. Pepper, so
that's decent money.
National commercials make you a lot of money.
Yeah, especially the more they run. That could actually... I didn't know that was him either.
Yeah. And also, she's on the same platform as William Hung. And you might know him from a little funny, his audition on American Idol.
Oh, like one of the first ones, too.
Cause she looks like a flower, but she stings like a bee. Like every girl in history.
Thank you. You can't sing, you can't dance. So what do you want me to say?
I already gave my best. Yeah. I have no regrets at all.
That's right. Simon was wrong on that one. That kid's a star, by the way.
I bought his Christmas album.
Yeah.
No, you did not.
You did.
No, you did not.
You bought a William Hung Christmas album?
Yeah, it was ironic. I don't know.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh my gosh, how much did you pay for that?
$500,000. That's how William Hung has money.
You are the reason for the problem.
Oh, that is awesome.
Wow. Last night on the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon was doing an opening monologue of his jokes, but he flubbed and messed up.
On Friday, a 112-year-old man was given a Guinness World Record for being the world's oldest living man. When asked how he achieved the record, the man said, "I jumped out and scared my older brother." I'm trying.
That's the worst when you got the punchline like all queued up and you miss it.
Messed it up. But he gave it one more go round.
A 112-year-old man was given the Guinness World Record for being the world's oldest living man. When asked how he plans on celebrating, he said, "By defeating Hillary Clinton to be the Democratic nominee."
Oh, there you go. Made it all political there.
Made it Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders joke. There you go. You can never go wrong with that. All right, that's going to do it for your least of these. Thank you, Betty Rock. You're just
Thank you, Bernie.
You're just
Thank
an
you.
amazing talent. I just love you so much. This is the Wally Show. Some good news and bad news for you. If you are at your job and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know, I'm not all that happy. If I just made a little bit more money, I'd be happier at my job. That's not the case, actually. According to this study, is that more money actually will not make you happier.
What?
I know, I'm
Money
sorry.
Money can't buy happiness?
No, it's something that, like, I guess it's been in the Bible for a while, but yeah, it's true, though. But we mess it up all the time. Money's one of those big things in our lives, I think, that really distorts us. And you think that, oh, if I make money, I'm going to be happier, it's going to solve all my problems. And it just doesn't. You know, as many times as you think, it just doesn't. I'd love to say it does.
Yeah, because I think in our heads, a lot of our problems, we think, oh, I'm in debt, or oh, I wish that I could buy a bigger house for my family to fit in, and so you think money will solve that. But if we just get greedier when we get more money.
Yeah, you live at the end of your means a lot of times too, and stuff, and so you just change that in for another set of problems. They did say as part of this study though that making less money will make you sadder though. Like, so if you're already here and you make more, it won't make you happier. Money's a short-term motivator. Like if you get a raise or whatever, it's like, yeah, that's great, but then that goes away, and like fulfillment in your job is what carries you long term more so than money. But they did say that if you make less money, then you get sadder. So like if you get a demotion or something, like I could see that kind of wrecking you. But I think the big picture of this, it made me start thinking about those times in your life where You thought something was going to make you happy, and you worked for it, and you accomplished it, and you got it, and you're like, yes, now I've arrived. Now I'm successful. Now I'm going to be happy. And then it failed to do so. I think it can happen even with relationships. When I get married, I'm going to be happy, and then you choose the wrong person, and all of a sudden you're not happy every day, because you just wanted so badly to get married or what have you. Or like for me, mine was money related. Like the first time I made like a big salary, I thought, oh my goodness, I've made it. I set a number in my head to get to, and I was like, when I get to that number, then I'm going to be successful, and then I'm going to be happy. And I worked in mainstream radio for a lot of years and made a grip of cash, but it was like, I never was happy. The money didn't solve those other internal issues, and those are the issues inside that I think that we're hardwired to want fulfillment. We're hardwired to seek things that matter, and that's God ultimately for us. But we try to fill that hole with so many different things. So I'm curious for you, what is that thing that you deemed as successful in your life, not even just business-wise, but just that one thing that you thought, this is going to make me happy, and then why didn't it? So 877-91-WALLY is the number. We'll take yours right now. 877-91-WALLY. If you got one, we'll take it. This is the Wally Show, and so many times in life, there's that thing that we're striving for. We're working towards a goal or what have you, and it kind of can consume us, and then you get it, but then you have to process this feeling of sometimes you got what you worked so hard for, and you're not happy still. Like, what is that? How do you process that? So, Caitlin, has that ever happened to you?
Yes, last year I worked really hard to lose about 30 pounds.
Oh, good for you.
And I thought losing the weight would make me more extroverted and have better relationships with other people, and I kind of learned the hard way that self-esteem has to come from within.
I've definitely had that same battle because in the past year or so, I've lost about 25 pounds. And you have this goal weight in your head, and we think, okay, once I reach that, I'm going to feel great in everything I wear.
Yeah.
But that self-esteem issue it's still on the inside, and I still sometimes will put on something, and even if maybe it does look better than it used to, I'm still like, oh no, I can't wear this. I can't wear this.
Right. And your fears of socializing that I had before, they're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't really go away.
Yeah, I watched The Biggest Loser. The first couple of seasons, I'm like, oh man, they're trying to get into the person's head and really break them down. I'm like, you're weight loss guys. You're not a psychologist. But I came to realize that such a big part of that in that transformation and losing that weight is the mental side of it. And part of it's managing that expectation that you think you're going to be this completely different person on the inside because your outside changed. But what needs to happen first is you've got to change your inside to then have your outside change.
Right.
That was deep. I could be a trainer on Biggest Loser if I wasn't so stupid out of shape. This is the Wally Show, and so many times in life we have something that could even be a good thing, but it consumes us. We want to reach this goal, and we lose sight of other things, but then when we get it, all of a sudden it can be hollow still, and you're kind of left processing that. So, Nicole, has that ever happened to you?
It sure has. We have been in the pursuit of having children for over 3.5 years. We've done every avenue, and I think midway through, I just kind of realized that it became such an idol. Every part of my prayer life was praying for our children. Every, devotional I was seeking was about having children, and he just wanted me to seek him in it. And I know when our children do come, it will be amazing, but I'm still going to need him so much more.
I think you're absolutely right. We get focused on the outcome so many times of something, and we pray for this thing, and so many times God's like, I just want you to seek a relationship with me, and then that way you're going to be happy regardless of whether or not you have kids, if you're content in me, because as God, he's the thing that fills that hole in our life. Even though we have other desires, ultimately that's got to be the basis for everything that we choose in our lives.
And I think we realize that as we we're spending time, money, and energy, and God kind of got a hold of me and said, spend that same amount of energy pursuing me.
This is the Wally Show, and we're talking about those things in life that, failed to make you happy. You aspired to this, you worked for this, you dreamed of this, and then you got it, and it didn't make you any happier. And I think we all have something like that in our life. So, Jen, what is that for you?
Well, I thought getting married would have made me happy. It didn't, because he turned out to be an addict, and an abuser, and my self-esteem is so bad that I thought, well, this is the best I can do. And when I got out of it and I finally let Jesus into my heart, that's what made me happy.
I think the saddest thing for me about like a story like that is like girls dream of getting married from the time they're little. I know my daughter has, and it's a big deal. And so you want the fairy tale. And when the fairy tale doesn't match up with reality, that's really sad. But I think the even sadder part of that is you saying that it affected your self-esteem to the point where you thought this is all I can do, or maybe even what I deserve, or this is how life is supposed to be. And nothing could be further from the truth.
Oh, I know. And I haven't given up the dream that someday, God has someone out there for me. But now I know that it's his time and his plan. And if God decides that, yes, I'm going to send him to you, then that's great. And if he doesn't, I'm happy anyways.
It's the Wally Show. That was it. Sorry you're disappointed. The Wally Show.
So glad Wally's gone. This has been so great ever since he's left. This is amazing.
I'm still here. We just recorded this.
I wish it were like this every day, where he just gets up and leaves, and we get to do things on our own. It's
so
the
much
best.
fun.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so that's it for the podcast today. I can't do
right.
it. Now I got to go.
That's it for the Wally Show.
That's the end.
I will let one of you get the last word.
Word.
Maybe.
Stop.
Maybe.
Hey.
I can't.
I edit this thing.
Can't help myself. Nuts.